Welcome to the series, Yotam. I'm very grateful for you to want to join.
Sure.
And so there, like every year, I have different questions, a little bit. And since you didn't do it last year, I kept a few of them from the last year.
Okay.
So, first of all, when you meet new people, how do you usually introduce yourself?
For the majority of my life, I was introduced in different contexts as the son of, and then there was also a division between, if it was artist, then I was always the son of Dvir, and if it was socialites, then I was always the son of Shifra. And then gradually, through the fact that I became an adult, I started to just say Yotam, without the son of. But recently, I would say in the last couple of years, I've kind of took back the son of, because I found that it's coming from a different place, and I'm now honored to be the son of, which I think holds much more than just me. So, generally speaking, I say to people that I'm Shifra and Dvir's son, and if the conversation goes further, then I'm a gallerist. And then at some point my father and mother would jump into the conversation, whether spontaneously or not. So it's kind of always there.
So when you were a child, with all these interesting people around, and when the adults would come and ask you, so what you want to do when you grow up, what used to be your answer?
Well, I have very few memories of my childhood, but I remember that when I was a really small boy, I wanted to be King Solomon and to be able to talk with all the animals. That, I think, is my first ambition. I just thought it's this ability to be in complete harmony, because a language bridges this gap between the unknown, is the biggest superpower ever. So yeah.
And do you remember your first fear?
My first fear?
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm not sure if it's the first one, but I remember while I was living here in Paris, I think I was 5, I was playing, it was a garden, I think Montsouris, and I got lost. I couldn't find my mother anymore. And there's this moment where you feel like completely detached, and it somehow kind of explains this bond, this unbelievable bond between a child and his mother, which is just this feeling of security and feeling of freedom, that you can do everything because your mom is there. And then the disappearance of that feeling was quite emotional for me. And of course, after, I don't know, an hour and a half, she found me and told me exactly what she thought about this disappearance, which then created another fear.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
The fear of the wrath of your mother. But it's somehow connected to your previous question. But now that I'm a father, I think that what I was experiencing as a child was nothing in comparison to what she was feeling as a mother.
This is a new question I found this year, and I thought, yeah, I'm doing this series with important people. And of course it's a little bit of a joke, because what does it mean, important people?
Yeah.
But it's a nice combination of words, because important and people are two concepts that call nothing material. It's only in your, this exists somewhere in mental space.
Completely.
In reality, you can draw a house, a sun, a tree, but you cannot draw an important person.
Yeah.
Because you're going to draw whoever it is for you.
Yeah.
And that was my question. Who is, what are your criteria to determine who is an important person for you?
I mean, it's both personal and unpersonal at the same time. I think what I look at people is people who are honest and human. That goes back to this empathy, which is for me the essential. And afterwards, I have, like anybody else, I have small things that I regard as that I like. Like I like hardworking people. I believe in it. I guess that's my Jewish upbringing. And I mean, humor is essential. If you're not funny or / you do not understand humor, we cannot be together at all. Like, this is a no-go. So yeah, transparent, honest, hardworking, funny people. Yeah.
Do you think you just described yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Yeah.
So, let's imagine that aliens contacted you and they asked you, could you please explain us humanity?
Oh, wow.
How would you do? What would you say?
Well,
to help them understand.
It's a tricky one, but if you think of empathy as a rope, so humans are kind of pushing or holding the rope, and the more they steer it their way towards looking at the other, that's a human factor, and the more they steer away from it, that's also a human factor. I mean, the entirety of humanity is on this pole, I guess, both the good things that we do and the most horrible ones. I think every crime originates by a lack of empathy, by not thinking that this is somebody's daughter, son, brother. And when you dehumanize people or dehumanize yourself towards them, it's a very human thing to do. So yeah.
Mm. Do you think that would help them to understand?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's who we are. That's who we are. That's the balance or the lack of balance, depending on who we are. That is most characteristic of us. I mean, we were talking about AI. I think the fear is about this fact that he wouldn't have empathy, essentially, and thus is not human. He's something else, and yeah.
But maybe they can learn empathy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, in a way, we shouldn't stress about AI, because if they do become like us, then they're fucked. Then they're fucked. Because we are, AI. Yes, because we are not, a factory. We are not super efficient. We are complex in our lack and pluses of empathy. So, I mean, I'm much more afraid of AI as a robot, as this, just, does a better job than we could ever do, as a machine. But this fear of him, of it growing feelings, is nothing to be afraid of. On the contrary, just adds another thing to the party. Right.
So humanity would be creatures trying to be empathic.
Or deciding not to be at various junctions, yes.
That's decisive criteria. Yeah. Yeah. So, what did you dream for yourself as a child? What was your first dream?
I really don't have a lot of memories from my childhood. I really, really don't. But I was interested in sport. So I'm assuming I was probably imagining myself being an amazing football player. I mean, I was pretty good, but I'm guessing it was in a level of Barcelona style. So yeah. But whatever I did when I was a child, I wanted to be the best, and I couldn't understand why I'm not. So I guess it's an endless amount of desires and failures in my mind. So it's another dream probably every day.
But who told you you weren't?
Good enough? Life told me I wasn't good enough. By of course these Western standards that of failure and success. Yeah, I wasn't the champion of Israel. I wasn't the champion of the world, and definitely not the brightest or the best pupil in school. That's for sure. So.
And you say you have few memories of your childhood.
Yeah.
Well, I have two questions about that. First of all, what's your oldest memory as a human being?
My oldest memory. Well, the one that comes to my mind now is a memory I have of my grandmother caressing my hair before I go to sleep and singing songs in Yiddish that I later learned that my grandfather used to sing to her while he was courting her in the small village in Poland. That was a beautiful memory, or that is a beautiful memory. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And the second question, why do you think you have so few memories of your childhood?
I mean, I think that it's funny that the conversation is so not me to put so much technological aspect in a conversation, but I think I'm like a computer, and like the hard drive is full, and so I didn't empty the trash bin for a long time, and so there's no rejuvenation. So I mean, my memories are very sentimental, so they come in waves, and then I could remember something that I completely forgot or misplaced. But I don't, like, if you'll ask me, describe to me your year when you were 6, I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, I remember glimpses, but not, of course, the whole thing.
But there is this theory saying that every 7 years, the entire body is renewed, like every cell is replaced.
Okay.
I mean, there are cells that are replaced every day, and some are replaced every 7 years, but basically every 7 years, it's a new body. So how can you carry memories of a body that no longer exists?
Yeah.
Only by rewriting them.
Yeah.
So every time it's a bit reinterpretation.
Yeah, but so, it's a balance, because we are brought to this world with memories of our grandfathers embedded in our genes, and I'm not saying it as a specialist of any kind, but just I know it for a fact that I, for example, share a lot of things with my grandfather which I never knew. And I also see now that I'm starting to become a bit older, how much I'm becoming in certain manners, like my father or mother. And it's funny because you have this feeling of independence and that you're unique in this world, and you're not only not unique, but you, whether you like it or not, a part of this endless chain, or potentially endless chain, which holds memories of each and every one's experiences.
And so the aliens contacted you again. So, okay, thank you for humanity. Now, could you explain us what the concept of love is?
What the concept of love is?
What is love? How you guys? What is it for you guys here?
Oh wow! Wow! What is love? What is love? I guess love is sharing time. No, it's this decision at some point that becomes life, of sharing time together. That's on a let's say relationship based. But love is also, now that I'm a father, is also this, how should we describe it? How should I describe it? Amazement by another person being somewhere. I'm not sure, as opposed to the empathy question, I'm not sure they'll get this one, the aliens, for me. But I guess they have a notion of time wherever they're coming from, even if it's a different one than ours. And they will probably understand the idea of sharing it.
If you could go back to, let's say, a hard moment in your youth, for me it was around 15. I don't know what year, what age you were when you were in most difficulties. What kind of advice you would give yourself?
I guess I would say not to try and speed time. I was very much obsessed, for various reasons, with growing up and being mature and being capable of assuming life. And I think that by this series of choices, I kind of never got to experience childhood and being a teenager in the full sense of the spectrum. So I would tell myself to relax a bit, that it's fine. It's going to come whether you like it or not. And once you're there, there's no going back. That's the thing about now, it's linear, it always goes on one direction. So yeah,